Good afternoon, class. My name is Cassidy Beinlich. Welcome to my presentation on optimizing decision-making within the U.S. Marshal Service. The purpose of my presentation is to show how statistical decision-making tools and optimization techniques can be applied to address real-world operational issues faced by the organization. The U.S. Marshals, as the nation's oldest federal law enforcement agency, plays an important role in federal judicial security, fugitive apprehension, prisoner support, and asset forfeiture. With such this broad mission, operational efficiency and effective decision-making are necessary. In this project, I've analyzed the challenges and decision points faced by the U.S. Marshals, identified tools for improving outcomes, and proposed recommendations that balance efficiency, risk management, and ethical considerations. My analysis includes data-driven decision models, ethical frameworks, and optimization methods to suggest solutions that go along with both operational goals as well as public accountability. I will cover an overview of the organization, the selected problem statement, application of statistical tools, risk analysis, ethical considerations, including AI, financial outlook, and overall recommendations for improvement. The goal is to show how effective evidence-based decision-making can be in organizational performance while maintaining integrity and trust. The U.S. Marshal Service is the oldest federal law enforcement agency in the United States. It was established in 1789. Today, it is under the Department of Justice and is responsible for several tasks. This includes, as I said, protecting federal judges and courthouses, apprehending fugitives, transporting prisoners, executing federal court orders, and managing seized criminal assets. The reason I selected the U.S. Marshals for this project is its important role in national security and justice, as well as the operational challenges it faces. Unlike some agencies that focus just in one area of law enforcement, the U.S. Marshals must manage many different responsibilities across wide regions. This requires having good logistical coordination and decision-making in uncertain situations. For example, determining how to allocate resources for fugitive apprehension while maintaining court security and prisoner transport responsibilities requires tedious breakdown of all expenses. In addition, the U.S. Marshals face challenges related to staffing, resource constraints, and technological modernization, which make decision-making even more complicated. By breaking down the agency's operations with statistical and decision-making tools, I hope to find the best opportunities for optimization. This will help improve efficiency, reduce risk, and enhance the agency's ability to carry out its mission in a fair, ethical, and effective manner. The main problem I identified for the U.S. Marshals is resource allocation. This is specifically relevant when it comes to balancing fugitive apprehension operations with judicial security responsibilities. Both areas are mission crucial. Apprehending dangerous fugitives protects public safety while ensuring judicial security upholds the rule of law. However, resources like personnel, funding, and time are limited. Each jurisdiction across the country has its own unique demands, but staffing shortages and growing caseloads seems to strain the majority. For example, some districts may require additional deputies for high-profile trials and court security. Others may be overwhelmed with fugitive cases that require more support staff. Traditional allocation methods follow other historical patterns or the discretion of the administration. But the approaches I have shown in the next couple slides may not reflect the real-time operation needs. Rising operational costs and increasing workloads add to the issue. Without having structured and data-driven approach, there is a risk of the mission being insufficient and become compromised. So, the issue is how the U.S. Marshals can apply statistical decision-making and optimization techniques to allocate resources more effectively across their many different priorities. The problem is mainly revolved around optimization, making sure that these limited resources are deployed where they will achieve the greatest impact and fulfilling the service's diverse issues. Statistical decision-making tools give the U.S. Marshal Service powerful ways to enhance operations. For example, linear programming can be used to find how best to allocate deputies across their priorities like fugitive apprehension, judicial security, and prisoner transport, given limited resources. Predicting techniques can project workload demands based on historical trends in fugitive cases, court schedule, and prisoner movement. Regression analysis, on the other hand, can help identify major predictors of demand like regional crime rates, trial schedules, or seasonal variations. Both of these tools allow the United States Marshal Service to move from reactive decision-making to proactive planning. By applying these models, decision makers can identify where bottlenecks are most likely to occur and how to allocate resources to reduce risk. The use of qualitative models adds transparency and objectivity to decision making. Instead of relying just on a subjective judgment, leaders can justify decisions based on data, which helps with enhancing accountability. These methods have already proven valuable to other federal agencies and can be adapted to the Marshal Services. The goal is not to eliminate human judgment, but to strengthen it with reliable evidence-based sources that improve mission effectiveness and efficiency across diverse operational contexts. Risk assessment and decision analysis are necessary for making sure the United States Marshal Service can manage competing priorities effectively. One of the main risks is under-resourcing judicial security. This could expose jurors, and the courthouse to threats. Other risks include delays in fugitive apprehension, which could allow dangerous individuals to remain in the public, which can bring higher risk to public safety. Decision analysis models allow leaders to weigh these risks by looking at the trade-off of using different resource allocation options. For example, decision trees and sensitivity analysis can model the probability of certain risks occurring, like security breaches or fugitive escape, with different scenarios. Assigning probabilities and estimated cost to outcomes can help leaders make more informed choices. Sensitivity analysis also helps with identifying which variables have the greatest impact on outcomes. This helps decision makers focus on high priority factors. This structured approach allows for the U.S. Marshals to qualify risk instead of relying solely on intuition, creating a stronger foundation for operational planning. Ultimately, decision analysis models give a systematic way to balance efficiency and safety, making sure that limited resources are used in ways that minimize risk while maximizing mission effectiveness. The use of AI in decision making for the United States Marshal Services bring important ethical considerations up. On one hand, AI tools can enhance efficiency by predicting fugitive movements, optimizing deputy scheduling, or identifying high-risk cases requiring greater attention. On the other hand, AI systems can bring bias if they rely on flawed data, such as overrepresentation of certain demographics in crime statistics. Ethical decision-making requires that any AI applications be transparent, explainable, and subject to overview. The Marshal Service must make sure that AI does not create disparities and follows civil liberties. Accountability is necessary. Leaders must be able to explain how the AI-driven recommendations are generated and make sure that final decisions are made out of the deputy's own discretion. In addition, AI tools should be used as a supplement and not a replacement for professional judgment and training. If used responsibly, AI can improve workload forecasting, deputy deployment, and prisoner transport scheduling, but strict policies must be used to maintain these ethical standards. For the Marshal Service, this balance makes sure that AI contributes to the fairness and efficiency while also maintaining public trust and the service's core values of integrity and justice. Based on the analysis, many actionable recommendations are proposed for the Marshal Services. First, the services should implement linear programming and other optimization methods for resource allocation. These models can help systematically find how to distribute deputies across judicial security, fugitive apprehension, and prisoner transport based on their priorities. Second, the marshals should explain this data collection and predictive analysis capabilities. By having a strong database in fugitive cases, trial schedules, and prisoner transport demands, the service can improve forecasting accuracy. Third, the adoption of AI-assisted scheduling systems can be used, but it is necessary to have clear oversight and safeguards to make sure there is fairness and transparency. These tools can reduce inefficiencies and improve planning across districts. Finally, investing in staff training is essential. Deputies and supervisors must be trained in the use of decision support tools, making sure that models and analysis enhance human judgment rather than replace it. Together, these recommendations create a roadmap for more efficient, accountable, and ethical operations. They also align with the broader government initiatives promoting evidence-based policy and data-driven law enforcement strategies, which strengthen the U.S. Marshal's ability to fulfill its mission effectively in a rapid and changing environment. The financial outlook of these recommendations is favorable. Initial investments will be required, especially for data systems, AI-assisted scheduling tools, and training programs, but the long-term cost savings are significant. By improving efficiency, the Marshal Services can reduce expensive overtime costs, eliminate duplication of efforts, and minimize delays in fugitive apprehension and prisoner transport. Optimization models can also help to reduce financial risk associated with misallocating resources like the cost of judicial security breaches or prolonged fugitive investigations. In addition, data-driven decision-making can reduce wrongful allocations that may lead to insufficiencies and potential legal liabilities. Although the integration of AI requires a lot of upfront cost, it saves money by streamlining scheduling and workload distributions. Training deputies and supervisors in decision-making support tools makes sure that benefits are sustained and reduces reliance on external contractors and consultants. In the long term, these recommendations not only improve mission outcomes, but also deliver measurable cost savings. This financial perspective strengthens the case for implementation by demonstrating that efficiency and accountability are not only operational imperatives, but also fiscally responsible strategies to protect taxpayer resources. Overall, the U.S. Marshal Service faces many different complex operational challenges that demand smarter, data-driven approaches to decision-making. By applying statistical tools like linear programming, forecasting, and regression analysis, the service can better allocate resources and anticipate workload demands. Risk assessment models add further help, allowing leaders to weigh trade-off and qualify uncertainties. The integration AI can bring forth significant opportunities to improve efficiency in forecasting, provided it is implemented ethically and transparently. The recommendations presented, ranging from optimization models to training initiatives, shows that it is possible to improve both efficiency and accountability. Financially, these strategies offer long-term cost savings while enhancing mission performance. Most importantly, the U.S. Marshal Service can strengthen public trust by demonstrating its commitment to evidence-based ethical decision-making. Balancing operational effectiveness with integrity and fiscal responsibility ensures that the Marshal Service remains well-positioned to meet its diverse responsibility, safeguard justice, and uphold the rule of law in this increasingly complex environment. Thank you for listening to my presentation.